Okay, here's the video as promised. So we'll just start with the basics. This is the Cavalier. Looks like a little chocolate bar. It's a very cute machine. Okay, so I'll just do the threading with you. So this is your spool holder. It does pop up and pop down for shipping and storage. So you want to press that to get it out. So we're gonna go into here, from there to here, straight down to go right between those plates right there. And then when we go back up, we're going to get into this lovely spring. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and hook around this hook. So our spring bounces when we pull it like this. That's going to keep the tension. Then we're going to go in here. Sorry. Okay. All right, so we are down, we are through this, and around our little hook right there. Right? Then we're going to go down here. Then we're going to go down here. Then we're going to go down here. We're going to use our wheel to pull her up. And then we're going to thread from left to right. So from left to right. Okay, simple like this. Needle changing. You have a little hand screw right here. Loosen it. You have to pull the needle down, and the needles have a flat part. They're universal sewing machine needles. So you're going to put this back in. You can't really put it backwards because it's not going to fit. So the flat part is against this. There's a groove, and then you're going to tighten that screw. Okay, so my screw is tightened. My machine is threaded. It's almost threaded. And then we're going to put a bobbin in. All right, there we go. Get in there. Now, to get our bobbin in, I'm going to slide this open. Okay, there's our mechanism. If you get clogged, you're going to take these little guys, you're going to twist them up like this. If you have a clog, you're going to take this out, and then you're going to take this out. You see that? So it's going to leave an empty nest right there, and that's where you're going to take out anything that you have clogged. Then you're going to fit this back in. It fits only in one position, and this little part sticks towards you, towards your hand. So you just keep wiggling it until you feel it go in, like, you know, just keep rotating until you get the right spot. Then you feel it went all the way in. Okay, it's flat. You take your cover, you find where the little groove is, right there, and you just place it right back on top. And again, you'll feel where it no longer rotates. And then just rotate these little guys back onto their little holder. 1 and 2. Easy peasy. Now our bobbin, okay, this is our bobbin case. I always hold it in my left hand, and you want to hold it like this. So the hook, if you're holding it, is actually, here's the hook, you can see it right there. The hook is pointing away from you. So therefore your bobbin has to unroll towards you. So basically what you're doing is, as the bobbin unrolls, it's going to go into the hook smoothly by itself without you having to catch it. So let me put something to hold my phone. Here's your hook. You have a hook. So when your bobbin goes in, inside, it should be unrolling towards the hook, so it would automatically go into the groove. Then just kind of pinch this in place and pull this till it gets into this big hole. Can you see how it's not all the way in the big hole? There you go. It'll snap right in there. And then it should unroll rather smoothly out. If you want to tighten or loosen your tension of your bobbin case, you will move that screw. With my left hand, and this thread not in the way, you want the thread behind your hand, you're going to just go in there and put it right on that little rod. All right? And then once you get it, you just make sure it's all the way in. And this little handle goes right into that groove. And it should not fall out. So it should be snapped all the way in there. And we're gonna take our needle, we're gonna lower it and raise it up. That's the sound of a new belt that's never been used. Okay. There it goes. All right. So I've got, oh, I have a little extra thread there. Okay. So now I've got both these guys in, out, and now we're gonna slide this closed. Okay, simple. All right, and now we're going to put something under it, and we're gonna sew. Now, the control box right here, so here's my pedal, it's on the floor, but the control box has a light and a motor section. It says right here, motor, and this one says light. The motor one I marked with a piece of tape because they're not labeled individually to make it easy to understand. Okay, now I'm sewing right now on normal, and I can go to silk and I can go to darning. So we'll just do each of those individually. Let's start with normal. Now I'm gonna go to regular stitch length, like number 3, because we don't wanna go to 0 because that's in place. And we don't wanna go to 5 because that's a really long stitch. So we'll just start with like number 3. All right, so we'll just slowly start off. And there she goes. And we'll just check out, sorry about the red thread, that's from a previous machine I was testing. So I'm currently using this beige thread right here. There it is. And the bottom is like an ugly old bluish. So there it is. It's actually sewing very smoothly right now. Okay. So there we go, of a nice size 3 stitch. It's nice and tight. Now if you want to change your tension, you can increase your tension, you can decrease your tension. Right now we're right there, you know, at a pretty standard. Okay, so that's a good tight stitch. Let's go to number 5. You see how much more it just spreads out. Okay, now silk, sorry about that. I have a bunch of stuff here from this other machine I was testing. And of course I don't have any fabric laying around that's thick enough because I usually work with really thin stuff. Okay, so now we're gonna do the other settings for the presser foot. So if you're doing something that, you know, needs help moving through, you want to increase the tension on your presser foot, and by doing that, so that's really going to push this down. And to release it, you just push that part. So if you're working now on silk, that's going to lower the teeth of the machine. So it's not going to move as smoothly. It's going to be very light because you don't want to damage the silk. So you see how I'm able to go kind of sideways? And you can increase your pressure slightly to give yourself a little more control. But the idea is not to cause any pinches or any damage to the delicate fabrics. And now if we're going to do darning, we can go straight to stitch number 0. And that's going to, well, we don't want to go to 0. And that's going to give us some control. Oh, and you also have to release this if you're going to be doing any kind of darning. So you see how I'm able to go sideways, backwards, all over. So if you wanted to like make a Christmas tree design, you could draw it and then follow it. So that's for the darning. Okay, now the bobbin winding. So here's your bobbin winder. You have a new thingamajig. So just put this on here. Put this under this wheel. Make sure it goes into the groove. Okay, so there's a little bit of tension. And now let me get this ugly bobbin. Slide it up on here. And some people put it through the hole. That's the easiest way to start winding. You just pick a hole. Sorry about this weird delay. Okay, so you just pick a hole and you shove it through. Oh my gosh, I feel so clumsy today. Okay, this if you hold this wheel, take this, turn it to the left all the way, not to the right, to the left. That will stop the mechanism from rotating. So I'm gonna push the pedal and watch. This is rotating, this is not. Okay, so when we're winding our bobbin, there's something important to remember. There's a little groove right here. A little groove matches these bobbins right there. So you're gonna slide your bobbin until it goes all the way in. You see that? So if you don't hit it with the groove, it's gonna be slightly sticking out. So just rotate it until you feel it. Okay, this is gonna go here, here, and here. You can either stick it in the hole. Sorry. Come back, little bobbin, come back. Okay, so again, and both sides will have a groove, so there. So it's in. This, you can just stick it in a hole and hold it. Since I only have one hand and I cannot stick it in a hole and hold it, I'm just gonna wind it a couple times and then just get my bobbin back on until it hits that little slot. There, it's in. Okay, and once it's in, is it in? Make sure. No, where's my little groove? There, come here, little groove. See, it's right there. So I have to make sure that my bobbin, there it is, goes all the way over it, okay? Otherwise it just doesn't rotate well. And then you're gonna push this down and it's gonna be right in the middle. All right, and then you're just gonna push your foot. Oh, I forgot it rotates the other way. Doesn't matter. Okay, so see, and now it's just gonna rotate. And I ran out of thread down here. The point is that once it's on the groove, it rotates freely. If it's not on the groove, it will not rotate freely. When your bobbin is full, it will self-pop up, and then this will deactivate. Then when you want your machine to sew again, because right now it's not sewing, you're going to take this wheel, you're gonna hold the hand wheel and tighten as you're holding this wheel. So you need 2 hands for this. I'm gonna tighten with 1 hand, but it should still work, okay? I'm gonna deactivate this. Oh, you can also be winding this, by the way, as you're sewing, obviously, if you think ahead, which I never do. And then just hit your reverse, and then it's gonna go backwards and forward and backwards. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. Oiling the machine, you do not need to oil this machine for a very long time. If you do need to oil this machine in the future, let's say 6 months from now, it's 1 drop at a time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 2 drops right here. Your motor has been oiled. You will not need to oil this motor for like a year, all right? And then back here, if you really want to, you can access here. And it's going to open up this plate, and you're gonna see this lovely, there it is, mechanism. That's your, not your shaft, sorry, shaft. And it could use a little drop in there if you'd like to oil the reverse and all that. Just all the way back there, you need something that actually reaches. But that's not, you know, not something you need to worry about or deal with or do. A drop of oil on the top once every 6 months should be perfectly sufficient if you're not using the machine very heavily. If you're using the machine very heavily, you can give it a drop every month. And that's it. This is your lift. Okay, I hope that you found this helpful, and thanks for getting my machine.